All right, here we go. Last act of Romeo and Juliet, Act 5. There are only 3 scenes in Act 5. Scene 1 and 2 are short. Scene 2 is really short, and Scene 3 is really long. So we're probably cutting this into 3 videos, but this first one here is going to cover all of Scene 1 and all of Scene 2, and then we'll do 1 or 2 for Scene 3 because it's so long by itself. So we now have Romeo in Mantua. Remember, Romeo did not appear at all in Act 4. He's in Mantua, and Balthazar is about to return. Remember, well, I don't think it's said earlier, but Balthazar is going to be bringing news to Romeo. Okay, telling him what's going on in Verona, what's going on with Juliet, all that good stuff. And so Romeo had an interesting dream here. And as we look at this dream, please notice how Juliet finds him in the dream, and how that could be foreshadowing. So here we go.
Act 5, Scene 1, Mantua, a street. Enter Romeo.
If I may trust the flattering eye of sleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand. My bosom's lord sits lightly in his throne, and all this day an unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. Strange dream that gives a dead man leave to think, and breathed such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor. Ah, me! How sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy.
Enter Balthazar.
News from Verona. How now, Balthazar? Dost thou not bring me letters from the friar? How doth my lady? Is my father well? How fares my Juliet? That I ask again, for nothing can be ill if she be well.
Then she is well, and nothing can be ill. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument, and her immortal part with angels lives. I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault, and presently took post to tell it you. Oh, pardon me for bringing these ill news, since you did leave it for my office, sir.
All right, so Balthazar saw Juliet being buried in the Capulet monument. We know the truth, right? We know she took the vial. We know the story there. But of course, Balthazar doesn't know what's really going on, so he believes Juliet to be dead. He brings that news back to Romeo. Remember, Friar John was sent from Friar Lawrence with the letter for Romeo that explained the whole plan, but Friar John hasn't gotten there yet. And so Romeo has no choice but to believe what Balthazar says to him. And of course, this immediately changes Romeo's entire mindset. And he's, as Balthazar says, your looks are pale and wild and do import some misadventure. Like, it looks like you're about to do something big. It looks like something's really wrong. Romeo's reaction here immediately is, I deny you, stars. Okay. Remember, we talk a lot about how the sun, the moon, and the stars are really important in this play. They are called star-crossed lovers in the prologue. And so lashing out at the stars is not unheard of for Romeo, because the superstition or the belief would be that the stars had some sort of very important meaning. So here we go.
Is it even so? Then I defy you, stars. Thou know'st my lodging. Get me ink and paper and hire post horses. I will hence tonight.
I do beseech you, sir, have patience. Your looks are pale and wild, and do import some misadventure.
Tush, thou art deceived. Leave me and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou no letters to me from the friar?
No, my good lord.
No matter. Get thee gone and hire those horses. I'll be with thee straight.
All right, so we don't know what the story is yet on the letter that Friar Lawrence sent to Romeo, but we know that Balthazar never ended up with it. So no matter, get thee gone. And Romeo is about to explain what he's going to do here. And we're about to meet the apothecary. So we'll hear a few lines and then I'll explain what's going on here.
Exit, Balthazar.
Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight. Let's see for means. O mischief, thou art swift to enter in the thoughts of desperate men. I do remember an apothecary, and hereabouts he dwells, which late I noted in tattered weeds, with overwhelming brows, culling of simples, meagre were his looks. Sharp misery had worn him to the bones, and in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes, and about his shelves a beggarly account of empty boxes, green earthen pots, bladders and musty seeds, remnants of pack-thread and old cakes of roses were thinly scattered to make up a show.
All right, so he says, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight, right? So remember, he believes Juliet to be dead, and so this is his threat now, that he's going to kill himself, and he's trying to figure out how. He says he remembers an apothecary. Now, an apothecary is kind of a cross between like a pharmacist and like a drug dealer. He would have medicinal things, remedies to help folks with, but also he might have things that were maybe not super legal for him to sell. And so Romeo notices that this apothecary that he saw, he says, meager were his looks, sharp misery had worn him to the bones. Okay, so the apothecary is really, really poor. And remember, Romeo is part of this incredibly rich family. So he's wondering, it's illegal to sell poison in Mantua, but maybe if I pay him enough, maybe he is poor enough, maybe he needs the money enough that he'd be willing to sell me that sort of thing, Romeo says. So let's continue here.
Noting this penury, to myself I said, and if a man did need a poison now, whose sale is present death in Mantua, here lives a caitiff wretch would sell it him. Oh, this same thought did but forerun my need, and this same needy man must sell it me. As I remember, this should be the house. Being holiday, the beggar's shop is shut. What ho, apothecary!
Enter, apothecary.
Who calls so loud?
Come hither, man. I see that thou art poor. Hold, there is 40 ducats. Let me have a dram of poison, such soon speeding gear as will disperse itself through all the veins, that the life-weary taker may fall dead, and that the trunk may be discharged of breath as violently as hasty powder fired doth hurry from the fatal cannon's womb.
Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them.
Art thou so bare and full of wretchedness and fear'st to die? Famine is in thy cheeks, need and oppression starveth in thine eyes, contempt and beggary hangs upon thy back. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich. Then be not poor, but break it and take this.
My poverty, but not my will, consents.
I pay thy poverty and not thy will.
All right, so Romeo says, Romeo gives him 40 ducats. Ducats is like gold coins, money. And he says, give me some poison. And the apothecary says right at the top here, yeah, I have that sort of thing, but the law is death to anyone who sells them. And Romeo basically says, look at you. You're so poor. Famine is in thy cheeks, right? You look like you're starving. Are you really afraid to die? The world has no law that will make you rich. So break the law, take this money, and you won't be poor. And the apothecary says, okay, my poverty, but not my will consents. Meaning, I'm not doing this because I want to, or because I think it's the right thing, but I'm doing this because I really need the money. And Romeo says, okay, that's fine. I'll pay your poverty, not your will.
Put this in any liquid thing you will and drink it off. And if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight.
There is thy gold. Worse poison to men's souls, doing more murders in this loathsome world than these poor compounds that thou mayst not sell. I sell thee poison, thou hast sold me none. Farewell, buy food and get thyself in flesh. Come, cordial and not poison. Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee.
All right, Romeo exits, end of scene 1. Romeo has this, after he and the apothecary do business, he has this little bit about money. Money is worse poison to men's souls than this thing that you're supposedly not allowed to sell. I sell thee poison, Romeo says. So giving him the money, saying, I'm giving you the real poison here, because money is evil or whatever. He takes the poison and calls it a cordial, right? Like a sweet treat of a drink, rather than a poison. Let's go to Juliet's grave. There I'm going to use these. So he exits. Now we get to scene 2. We're back in Verona and Friar John has returned. Remember, he was the one that Friar Lawrence gave the letter to. And Friar Lawrence said, hey, please deliver this letter to Romeo. It'll explain the entire plan so that he knows what's going on. He knows Juliet's not really dead, etc. Now we know that Romeo hasn't seen the letter yet, so we better figure out what's going on here. Friar John will explain.
Exit. Scene 2. Friar Lawrence's cell. Enter Friar John.
Holy Franciscan Friar, Brother Ho.
Enter Friar Lawrence.
The same voice be the voice of Friar John, welcome from Mantua. What says Romeo? Or, if his mind be writ, give me his letter.
Going to find a barefoot brother out, one of our order, to associate me, here in the city visiting the sick, and finding him, the searchers of the town, suspecting that we both were in a house where the infectious pestilence did reign, sealed up the doors and would not let us forth, so that my speed to Mantua was there stayed.
Who bear my letter then to Romeo?
I could not send it. Here it is again, nor get a messenger to bring it thee, so fearful were they of infection.
Okay, so Friar John went to find another friar, a third friar. We don't have a name for it, but says to find one of our order to associate me. And when he went to find that person, that friar, to go with him to Mantua to deliver the letter, they kind of got caught, and not like they were doing anything that would get them in trouble or anything like that. But there was a pestilence, there was a sickness going around. And because this third friar was visiting the sick, as would be something that someone in their position would do, they got quarantined, basically. They weren't allowed to leave town. And so here's the letter. I've got it right here. He says, I couldn't send it. I couldn't get anyone to take it because they were all afraid of getting sick. And Friar Lawrence is like, dude, that wasn't just a normal, like, nice letter about what's going on. That was really important. Okay. So as it turns out, Friar Lawrence now has to come up with another plan real quick. And he does. Friar John is going to help him here with this new quick plan.
Unhappy fortune. By my brotherhood, the letter was not nice, but full of charge of dear import, and the neglecting it may do much danger. Friar John, go hence, get me an iron crow, and bring it straight unto my cell.
Brother, I'll go and bring it thee.
Exit.
Now must I to the monument alone. Within this 3 hours will fair Juliet wake. She will beshrew me much that Romeo hath had no notice of these accidents. But I will write again to Mantua, and keep her at my cell till Romeo come. Poor living corse, closed in a dead man's tomb.
Exit.
All right, so he asks Friar John to get an iron crow. It's a crowbar, so that he can pry open the tomb, the monument, to get Juliet. He says within 3 hours, Juliet's going to wake up. And she's going to be real mad that Romeo didn't hear about what happened and doesn't know what happened. So he's going to write another letter to Mantua, send that off to Romeo, and then he'll take Juliet and keep her, it says right here, keep her at his cell until Romeo finally shows up. So he exits, he's on his way to get the crowbar and then go, he's going to get the crowbar from Friar John. He's going to go to the graveyard and try his best to rescue Juliet before Romeo shows up. So that's the end of scene 2. Scenes 1 and 2 are short. Scene 3 is the graveyard scene, and it is the final scene of the play, and it is long. So that's probably going to be 2 videos on its own. But that is it for this one. Thanks for listening.